Today, I'm going to be showing you how you can become a millionaire as a level 1 in GTA Online so that you can afford to purchase everything you've ever wanted. So sit back because this video is going to be very long. Let's get started. The first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to need to open your phone and head over to the internet. Now you're going to want to click on the War.Stock Cash and Carry website, and then after that we will need to click sort by price so that we can find the vehicle we're looking for. Now you should see the Duco Death, so we will need to purchase that. Alright, so this vehicle will help you a lot, especially if you're a beginner, since it has some pretty good armor and it will be difficult to get shot while you're inside. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is open up our map and look for this yellow V icon. Now this is going to be called the Cluckin Bell Farm Raid, and if it's your first time completing it, you will receive 500k plus an extra 250k, which equals $750,000 for your first time. But if it's not your first time doing it, you will still earn 500k each time, which is still going to help us get started. Alright, so once you arrive at the location, you will need to walk to the yellow ring. So once you did that already, you will need to start up the first mission called Slush Fun. Alright, so once you started the mission, we will need to head over to option A since this will be the closest one. And once you get here, just take out your weapon and start shooting the guards. And whenever you're ready, we can finally enter the garage. Now once we enter the building, there's going to be enemies waiting for us, so make sure you take them out. After that, all we need to do is walk up to these machines and steal the money until all the cash is gone. So keep spamming X if you're on PlayStation and A if you're on Xbox. After that, you can leave the building. Now, when you make your way over to option B, you'll notice that it's very similar to the previous steps. So whatever you did earlier is exactly what we're going to be doing again. After you completed this part, you will need to deliver the cash to the Vincent lockup, and then we are done with the first mission. Alright, all you need to do is make your way back so that we can start the next mission called Breaking and Entering. Now for this mission, the first thing we'll need to do is make your way over to the blue truck on your map. So this is going to be called the Terabyte. Once you get here, Vincent will send you a text message describing what to look for. So you're going to want to use that to help you out. Well, now that we found the Terabyte, we will need to take down the drones before we can enter. So just take out the drones using an automatic weapon. Once you've taken out the drones, we can enter the Terabyte. So you should see this item over here. So you're going to want to steal it from the inside of the Terabyte, and then we can exit. Now make your way over to the laptop, and once you guys arrive, you'll receive a text message describing what the guy looks like, so you're going to want to use that. After that, you will need to find the laptop, but it has 11 different spawn locations, so I'm going to show you all the spawn locations that the laptop can possibly spawn at. After you found the laptop, all you need to do is steal it, and then after that, just make your way over to the next spot. Once you arrive here, all you need to do is kill all the guards until you find the key card, and one of them will drop it eventually. But once you found the key card, you will need to run over to the train, so just clear the area before doing that, and then you can enter the train. Alright guys, so once you see this notification pop up, you will need to click the right D-pad. Now this will prevent your train from stopping in its tracks. Now from here on out, the only thing left to do is just keep driving your train, but make sure that you're healing up so that you don't get killed. Once you completed the mission, you will spawn very far away, so make your way back over here to continue the next mission. Alright, so the next mission is going to be called Concealed Weapons, so we're going to want to start that up. Now once you're inside the mission, we will need to head over to option B, since this is going to be the quickest one to do. Now once you're here, you will need to steal a jet ski, so just ride on that until you eventually arrive at the yacht. Once we get here, we can run through the area. So make a left turn and then run through this room, and then you're going to want to clear the area. So the next thing we're going to need to do is steal this gray crate up here, so click the right D-pad. After that, we can walk into these double doors so that we can enter the cabin. Now once we're inside, you're going to want to kill all the guards in here, and then we will need to run to the room, and you should see a bright red duffel bag, so you're going to want to steal that. Afterwards, you can exit the yacht cabin, and if you get lost, you can follow my route so that you can exit the area, since it could be a little confusing at times. But yeah, enter a jet ski and drive it back to Vincent's lockup. Okay, so once you arrive, you will need to send a text message to Vincent to confirm everything. So just open up your phone and head over to the iMessage app. Now, just copy what I do in the video and you should be good to go. Alright guys, so we just completed the mission, so head back to the police station and start up the next mission called Hit and Run. Once you're here, you're going to want to open up your map and head over to option B. And once you get here, I recommend parking your car right beside the gate. Now, after that, you will need to run through and keep shooting the guards until they're all gone. And then after that, you will need to move this black truck out of the way so that we can actually escape. So whenever you're ready, we can steal the getaway vehicle by entering it and just driving it over this little ramp right here. Just make sure that you have your snack menu open so that you don't get killed. Alright, so after you're nearby the drop-off point, the game may tell you to repair the vehicle. So if it does tell you to repair it, you're going to want to drive into this garage, and then after that, it should show an option to repair it. And then after that, you can just drive your vehicle into the other garage. Now that we are inside, we will need to text Vincent proof that the car has been delivered to the garage. So just follow what I do in the gameplay and you should be able to complete this part pretty easily. Then when you're done, you can exit the building. Now once you get outside, all you need to do is leave the area. So just drive far out and then you'll eventually complete the mission. Alright, so make your way to the police station so we can start up the next mission called Disorganized Crime. Now that we are here, the first thing we're going to need to do is head over to the location. And once we do that, we will need to hack the trucks. So all you need to do is click right D-pad on your controller and then we will be able to get one done. Now sometimes there's going to be a uniform that will spawn on the ground, so just steal it so that we can have better cover. After that, we will need to hack the last truck, so just do that. Once you're done, make your way over to the location, and when you are inside, you're going to need to use a weapon with a suppressor so that we don't get caught. After that, we can walk up behind this and take out this guard. Now afterwards, there's going to be a guard beside this big truck, so just shoot him pretty quickly. Now just follow what I do in the video. So just clear the area, but like I said before, make sure you use a weapon with a silencer so that we don't get alerted. Now just take out these two guards over here and then we should be able to walk up these steps. Afterwards, we will need to walk up to this crate and steal the drill. So just click the right D-pad because we will need it for later. Now after you got rid of the guards, we will need to walk into the room and kill these two guards. Now try to search the safe for the key card. Now once you try to search the safe for the key card, the guards will eventually start to walk towards your room. So you're going to want to kill them very quickly. And if you see this red bar, that means that you need to kill every single guard inside of the building. And if you fail to do so, you will start the finale alerting the guards. And trust me, you don't want that. But anyways, once you're done, you're going to need to search the area for the key card. So just keep searching the safe until you find it. Now that we found the key card, we will need to run through these doors and search for the trucks. And when you find it, all you need to do is click the right D-pad to steal the engine parts. But you will need to do it for all 4 of them. So once you did that already, you will need to run to the office room area and just run up to the computer to disable the CCTV cameras, which will allow us to remain undetected. Now once you get outside, you will need to locate a flatbed truck. So just steal it and then bring it back to your Vincent lockup. And then you will have to complete the final setup mission. Alright guys, so once you completed that mission, you will need to head over to this location on your map. Now if you go here, you will be able to restock on your snacks for the finale. After that, you're going to want to head over next door to your ammunition store to purchase some super heavy armor so that we don't die as fast. Once you're done with all that, we can finally start up the finale called Scene of Crime, which is going to be the last mission. Alright guys, so the first thing we need to do once we get inside is make sure we're using a weapon with a suppressor. Then after that, you're going to want to shoot this guard over here in the head to eliminate him. Then follow what I do in the tutorial and you should be good. Alright, so we will need to shoot open the garage door so that we can move on to the next part. So first things first, let's take out these guards over here very quickly before more start to show up. Now just follow what I do again in the video so that we don't get alerted, because we really don't want that to happen because we're going to end up failing the mission. Okay, so make your way over here and you should be able to kill all these guards that are going to be inside of this room. Just make sure that none of the guards are looking at each other. Now once the coast is clear, we will need to steal the set of keys off this table. Then we can walk all over here to enter our key card into this room. Once you get inside, you will want to kill every guard in here so that we can loot the place properly. Alright, so after that, you're going to want to make your way to the back of the room so that we can find the red crowbar. Now once you find it, all you need to do is search all the crates in the room until you find the product. After that, we can run here and make a right to exit the room. Then we can insert our key card into this other room. Now once we get down here, we will need to shoot all the people down here, so a quick headshot should do the job. Now when the coast is clear, you will need to steal all the silver from the table until your bag is full. And once it's finally full, we can just walk upstairs to exit the place. Now just copy exactly what I do in the video and you should be good to go. Alright, so before we can advance forward, we will need to make sure that none of the guards are looking at each other. And when they aren't, then that is a time to shine. So just shoot the guard. After that, there will be another guard, so we will need to shoot him also. Then after that, make sure you check if the coast is clear or not before moving so that we don't get alerted. Now, once the guard leaves, we can start shooting. After that is done, we can take out the last remaining enemies, and then we can move on into the next part. Now the next thing we're going to need to do is enter the office, but since it's locked, just click the right D-pad. Now we will need to hack the computer, so just do that. Then afterwards, we will unlock a hacking device inside of our inventory. Now you may be asking, how do you even use this? Well, it's actually pretty easy. So if the device is displayed as red, that means that you're too far away. If it's gradually rising to blue, then that means that you're getting closer to finding it. And then once it's green, that means that you found what you're looking for. So basically, all you need to do is use the device near all 3 of the computers, but 3 separate times, and that's going to be very easy. So once you're done, you will need to make your way back to the office and then walk up to the safe. Now you can use the hacking device to open the safe since it will have the code listed on screen. So just use the safe code to open it. Now once you're done with that, we can exit the office and run here to shoot the shutter switch so that we can exit the factory. Alright, finally, we're basically done with the mission. So all you need to do is copy what I do in the video, and hopefully that will help you do it properly. Now just run your way over to the garage, enter the getaway vehicle, and you can leave the garage afterwards. Now just follow what I do and you should be able to exit without even getting a wanted level. Alright, so just make your way back to the lockup and then you will have finally completed the final mission. Well guys, now that we're done, we will make some decent money, which will help us get started. Now the good news is that this mission we completed only has a 10-minute cooldown, so you're going to want to keep replaying that until you have earned $2.3 million so that we can purchase a Casaca. Alright, so once you have enough money to purchase a Casaca, we can finally start the Cayo Perico heist. So today I'm going to show you how to complete it from start to finish. So open up your phone and select the internet icon. Then afterwards, you're going to want to look for the Warstock Cash and Carry website. And then you should see the Casaca right here on your screen. Now, before we can buy it, we will need to meet with Miguel Madrazo at the music locker before we can purchase the Casaca submarine. So all you need to do is open up your map and look for this icon right here. Then you're going to want to click square if you're on PlayStation and X if you're on Xbox so that we can finally contact him. Now all you need to do is head inside the music locker, and once you're inside the building, you're going to want to head over to this M icon on your map. And then once you get here, you have to watch a long cutscene. So you're going to have to wait like 10 minutes or so for that to end. Alright, after that long cutscene is over, we'll be able to purchase the Casaca submarine. So head over to your phone and click on the internet. Then you're going to want to go to Warstock Cash and Carry. Now you should finally be able to purchase the Casaca for $2.2 million. Now the Casaca has so many different upgrades and features such as the Sparrow helicopter, which I highly recommend because you can easily access the submarine and be able to do the missions much faster. Okay, so you will get a phone call from Pavel, and he's going to tell you that your Casaca is available. Now that we hit the submarine, we're going to want to use a vehicle that can fly to get there. So head over to it right now. So once you enter the submarine, you'll be forced to watch a long cutscene. So basically, you're going to have to wait another 10 minutes. So just do something in the meantime until the cutscene is finally done. Alright guys, so the cutscene is over. So just walk up to this big planning screen and click the right D-pad. Now you're going to want to select the gather intel option. So basically for this mission, all we need to do is drive to the LSIA airport. So once you get here, you're going to have to watch another cutscene, and this will take like 7 hours. So just shower or do chores or something because it's going to be a long one. Okay, so now that the cutscene is over, you're going to want to enter this vehicle over here. And what we're going to do afterwards is just drive to the location, which is not even far away. Once that is done, you guessed it, there's going to be another cutscene, so you're going to want to wait for that to end. After it ends, you'll need to wait until Pavel tells you that you can leave the party, which should take around a minute or less, which is not that long. So once you get this message, you can start running over here to the gate. But make sure you don't run within the guard's cone of vision so that you don't get alerted. So once you get to the other side of the gate, you will want to follow my route. But make sure you're avoiding the cameras and the guard's cone of vision, because if you run into it, like I said earlier, you're going to be sent back to the beginning. Another pro tip is that I recommend using a vehicle since you can get there much faster so that you don't need to walk like what I had to do, which is going to take a long time. Okay, so once you get near this area, you will need to wait for Pavel to send you the location to the nearby communications tower, which will take around 30 to 45 seconds. So now all we need to do is drive to the communications tower. So you can either choose my path or you can just drive there, whatever way. Okay, so once you get here, you will need to climb the ladder to search for the communications tower. So do that. And once you finally found it, you will need to solve a grid to gain access to the cameras. So I'm going to show you how to do it. So this number right here is the target number that we need. So you're going to need to find a way to get all the numbers to equal that one number, and it's very simple. So if you watch the number with this icon, it will multiply your score by 2 points. If you match the number with that icon, it should add plus 6 points. And finally, if you match it with this icon, it will multiply by 10 points. So hopefully that helps you out a little bit. So now, after all that, we will need to open our phone and look for the Sightseer app, which is going to be this purple icon. And after that, we will want to access it. Okay, so you're going to have to watch this little cutscene, which should only take 30 seconds. So once it's over, you're going to need to cycle between the cameras, and you're going to want to look for the basement camera. But for your first time, you will always receive the Madrazo files, which is always going to be inside of this black safe. Okay, after you find that, you will need to access the office camera number 1, and just look towards this elevator until you see a white arrow pop up. So now we will need to search for the tools and equipment that we need for the finale. So we're going to need to head over to this location. So just try to climb down from the ladder carefully, because if you don't do it properly, then you're going to end up falling down. And trust me, you don't want that to happen to you, because you're probably going to have to start at the very beginning. But yeah, just follow my route and try to make your way all the way over here. So now that we're here, we will need to find an infiltration point. So just open up your phone and head over to the Snapchat app. And we will need to get a picture of the water right here, which is going to be called the North Dock. Then, once you're done with that, we will need to search the warehouses for some secondary loot. Once you're done with all that, open up your phone and head over to the Snapchat app to take some pictures to send to Pavel. Then afterwards, just keep searching for the secondary loot so that you can steal it for the finale. Now, we will need to find a tool called the bolt cutters, which we're not really going to use, but just walk over to it and just take a picture. Then afterwards, you can send it to Pavel. Once you're done with all that, you're going to want to walk all the way over here to the ocean to enter this boat. So just open up your map and drive to this location that I have marked on my mini map. So just take the route that I take to get here, and it shouldn't even take too long either. So once you get to this location, exit the boat and just swim over here to this point. Alright, once you get this message, that means you successfully did it properly. Next, all we need to do is scope out the airfield. So now just drive all the way back to this location so that we can see if we can get some more secondary loot. So inside of this hangar, there's going to be more secondary loot options, but we're going to need to take a picture of all of them so that we can have some more options for later. Then you're going to want to just send it to Pavel. Now we are going to need to go over here to this area on your map, so that we can get the last secondary loot item that we will need. Now the silver item on screen is going to be worth the most amount of money solo, paying about $200,000 for one stack of silver. And then for one stack of the collard greens, they're going to be paying $130K each time. Then for the cash, it will pay around $80,000. And then for the paintings, it will pay you around $160K, but these are only found inside of the office, and these are more rare to be found. Okay, the last thing we'll need to do before we leave the island is we will need to head over to the control tower. So make your way over here. And once you get here, just take a photo of it and then send it to Pavel. Once you did all that, we can finally leave. Head over to this sky on your map and then select return to Los Santos. And then you will have to watch a cutscene again, so just watch it, bro. But after that ends, I recommend setting your spawn location to your Kosaka and then find a new session. But make sure it's an invite only session so that you can avoid griefers. So once you get inside of your Kosaka, just walk to the planning board and then you'll have to go to the prep tab. Then you'll want to select the equipment option. After that, we're going to want to click on the cutting torch. So for this mission, all you need to do is get a vehicle that can fly and just fly to the top. And then once you're here, walk up to the yellow hard hat since you will need it to remain partially undetected. But basically, we will need to keep searching the crates until we find the cutting torch. Now the cutting torch is going to be blue, so you're going to want to look up for a blue object. But once we find it, click the right D-pad to steal it, and then head back to your plane or whatever you got here with and fly it to your Kosaka. And then you're done with the mission. Now, we will want to start up the next mission called Save Codes. Now, all we need to do here is just head over to the casino and then make your way over to the elevator. Now, once you're inside the hallway, you will need to look for the room number 518. Once you get here, you'll notice that there are guards outside. So just use a weapon that is silenced and take them out. So once you enter this suite right here, you'll get a notification describing what the person looks like. And he's always going to look like a watered down cowboy. So you're going to want to use that so that we can track down the guy. And once you find him, just shoot him with your shotgun or whatever, and then take the safe code from him, and then leave the building. Now once you're outside, you will need to lose the cops, which should be pretty easy to do. So I'll see you guys after that. Okay, so now that we are done, just head back to your Kosaka or just find a new session so that you can spawn here. But next mission we're going to start is the Fingerprint Cloner. So just head over to the location so that we can move forward. Okay, so once we are here, you're gonna need to walk to the back of the building to disable the cameras. Now this step is optional, but it can help you if you don't want to instantly get one pumped by the guy with the shotgun. But once you're inside, you're gonna need to shoot the guards in here, so just do that pretty quickly. And once you're done, you'll need to look for a laptop. Next, you're going to want to access it by clicking the right D-pad. Alright, all we need to do now is match the letters at the right time, which is going to take some perfect timing. After that, exit the building, and what will happen afterwards is you'll get the coordinates to the location. So once you get here, just shoot both of the cameras, and then you'll need to run inside the building. But now, just make your way all over to the back, which is going to be this desk right here, so that you can pick up the fingerprint cloner. Now it's going to be pretty hard to notice, and it's going to be small, but yeah, pick it up, and then make your way back to your Kosaka submarine. Okay, so now that we're done with that, go back to the planning screen inside of your Kosaka to start up the next mission. Okay, so now go back to the planning screen inside of your Kosaka and then go to the equipment option. Now you might notice there's another option called demolition charges. Please, whatever you do, do not complete this since we already have a replacement. This mission sucks, alright? So never do it. Okay, so now we will need to select the loadout, so I recommend selecting the aggressor one, since you will have a very good shotgun and a decent automatic pistol, which will come with grenades also. Okay, so if you ever end up getting the mission where you need to head over to the Merryweather HQ, please just find a new session because this mission will take forever to complete. So yeah, that means you will have to keep leaving the session until you get a mission that doesn't tell you to visit Merryweather's HQ. But afterwards, you're going to want to head over to the building, preferably the rooftop, since it's going to be quicker to access. So just run through the door to enter the building, and then after that, you'll be inside. So you'll notice that we don't even have to take out all the guards inside the building. So just follow what I do in the video and you should be good to go. But yeah, after that, you're going to need to take out these guards to access the computer. Now just look for the combination inside of the puzzle and then you will need to select it. And then after that, just walk up to the gun locker and click the right D-pad. And then you'll be able to steal the weapons. Now just leave the area and fly back to your submarine and then deliver the weapons. Okay, afterwards we will need to walk up to the planning board and just select the approach vehicles. So now we will want to select the Longfin boat. Then after that, all you need to do is exit your Kosaka submarine and drive to the destination. Once you get here, you'll notice that you'll need a truck to be able to attach the boat too. So just make your way over to the trucks. Now here's a quick tip. If you see a truck on the map with just one by itself, head over to that one, since I believe you should always get the Phantom Wedge one, which is pretty fast. Once you arrive, you will need to fight some enemies, which shouldn't even be difficult. So just take out the gunner and then shoot the rest of them. But once you find the truck, get inside of it and just bring it back to the police station. And then you're going to need to try to steal the Longfin by connecting it to the trailer. Just make sure you keep the snack menu open so that you don't get killed. Alright, so we will need to lose the cops. So the easiest way to do this will be to exit the vehicle and shoot an RPG at yourself. Just make sure that you're very far away from the vehicle so that you don't die and blow it up. Okay, so now that our wanted level is gone, we can drive it back to the docks area. Another pro tip, if you own the Phantom Wedge, you can request your own from the interaction menu instead of stealing one, which will save you a ton of time. Now, just drive your way all the way over to the docks to deliver the Longfin. Then after that, you completed all the setups, finally. So just make your way over to your Kosaka, and we're going to need to go downstairs so that we can get some free snacks. And these are going to allow us to heal up so that we don't die super quickly. Also, you may want to head over to the ammunition store and purchase some super heavy armor, which will allow us to not take as much damage. Now that we're done with all that, make your way back to your Kosaka. Okay, so now we will want to head over to the planning board to start up the finale. So you're going to want to click accept, and then you're going to want to start the finale. So for this part, just follow the same selections that I put on screen, since these are going to be the best options to select, in my opinion, since we are doing the Cayo Perico solo. But yeah, once you're ready, just click continue. Now there will be another cutscene if it's your first time, so stay put. Okay, so now that we are here, we will want to head over to the loot that is worth the most amount of money. So in my case, we're going to need to head over to the North Dock, since there's going to be some silver over here. But for you guys, you're going to want to drive to wherever the most valuable item is. So the first thing you're going to want to do is shoot this guard, but only when no one else is watching so that we don't get alerted. Now we're going to want to take out the guard at the tower, so you're going to want to aim for a headshot. Now afterwards, we will need to shoot the camera, but try not to get within the blue cones. Now once the coast is clear, we're going to want to run to this area over here and just hit the shutter switch, which works for solo players finally. But yeah, take the loot and then you're good to go. Now if you have the secondary loot at the airfield, just drive to the airfield and follow the route that I take. But once you get here, take out the guard that is waiting outside the hangar and just copy what I do. but make sure you're aiming for headshots and using a shotgun so that you can make it simple. But when you see this vehicle show up, get rid of him very quickly so that you don't end up getting alerted. And then you can grab the secondary loot from the lockup. Then, once you're done, just head to the hangar if you have secondary loot over there. So you may be wondering, how do you access this? Well, it's kind of strange. So all you need to do is look for a forklift inside of this hangar. Then grab one of the cargo crates and position it in front of the forklift. Now exit the forklift and just climb over top of the forklift, and then you're going to want to climb over this wall to access the area. Now all we need to do is walk up to this little gate, use the cutting torch by clicking the right D-pad to open up the door, and then after that we can just steal the loot. Pretty simple, right? Okay, so after our loot bag is full, we will need to make our way over to the compound. So the best way to do that is by entering the boat and keep driving the boat until you eventually get here. Then, once you're here, just go underwater and get close. And then you're going to want to try to cut open the grate. So all you need to do here is just hold the right trigger and move it over the green bars. And once you do it over all of them, then the gate will open up for you. Now, once you're here, you're going to want to keep swimming until you get far enough until you see this pop up. And then just do what it shows. So I'll see you guys after that. Once you're inside, you will need to follow what I do in the video in order to get out of here. So the first thing we're going to need to do is walk up these steps. Next, just climb over this little banister and keep running where I am going to be running. After that, just hop over this banister and wait at it until the guard starts to look forward. Then we should be good to get moving. Now just sneak behind this guy and walk up the steps. After that, take cover against the wall and wait for the guard to stop moving. And then once it's clear, you're going to want to run up the steps and then make your way over to this door to enter the office. Then after you're inside, you're going to want to walk up to the safe and steal all the money from it. Now afterwards, you're going to want to walk up to the elevator and put your key card in. Alright, so for this step, we're going to have to solve a puzzle in order to gain access to the basement. So the easiest way to do this for beginners is to make sure you match all of them with the first piece. Meaning, whatever your first piece is at the very top, you're going to want to copy that for each piece. Then after you do all that, you're going to need to go to your second piece and move it to the right 1 time. Then after that, you're going to want to move your third piece to the right 2 times. Then after that, you're going to want to move the 4th piece to the right 3 times. Then you're going to want to move the 5th piece to the right 4 different times. Hopefully you guys understand it now, but if you don't understand it, I'm going to put instructions on screen to help all you beginners out, since this can be confusing at times. Okay, so once you successfully completed the hack, you will need to walk inside of the elevator. Once the elevator opens, all we need to do is walk up to this door right here, and we will need to click the right D-pad to break into the wall. Once we are inside, you should get a message, and Pavel will send you the code to the safe. So just remember that code, alright? Because you're going to need it to open it. But afterwards, you can head back over to the elevator to go upstairs, and that's going to bring you back to the office. Now, once you're back upstairs, just copy the path that I'm going to be taking in the video. But once you get around this area, you will need to be very careful, since there may be guards here. So you're going to want to just wait until the guard is looking away from you, and then you can jump over the banister. Now we can make a way over here, so just run up the steps, but try your best to avoid the guard's cone of vision. And then after that, we can run up to this wall and click the confirm button. So from here on out, if we still alert the guards, we will still get the elite challenge. So just follow what I do in the video and you should be good to go. Alright, now with the latest update, Rockstar Games glitched the rebreathers. So if you are taking damage, you're going to want to go above water and then come back down. And then you should be good to go. So you shouldn't lose health anymore. But yet, after that, just keep swimming forward. So just keep spamming the swim button until the mission ends. Okay, so now we are finally done, and as you can see, we made almost $1.5 million, which is pretty good since you can do it quick and it's completely solo. Alright, so unfortunately, there's going to be a 144-minute cooldown if you do it solo, which is about 2 hours and 24 minutes. But if you do it with a friend, well, there's only going to be a 48-minute cooldown. So now that we completed the mission, we should have some decent money. The next thing you're going to want to do is once you have enough money to purchase an agency, I recommend actually purchasing it. So this will help you become rich, since you'll be able to make $1 million every single time you complete the Dr. Dre contract. So once you have purchased the agency already, you're going to want to head inside of your office and head over to the computer. Now, once we are at the computer, we're going to want to log into it. So if it's your very first time doing this, you will need to select the Asset Protection Security contract. And if you don't have the same missions as me, don't worry, you'll just have to select a random one. Okay, so once you selected that mission, you will need to click Accept Contract. Okay, so now that we selected the contract, make your way to the waypoint, which should be Elysian Island. Now that we are here, all we need to do is just protect the cargo crates from getting destroyed. whatever you do, do not use an RPG or an oppressor with missiles, because if you do, you may destroy the cargo, and we really don't want that to happen. Also, heads up, this mission will take a long time, so you're gonna want to wait for the timer to end, and then you'll just have to take out the enemies. Alright guys, so once you completed the previous mission, we will need to wait a couple minutes before we can start another security contract. So just head over to your agency and wait until Franklin calls you again. Okay, next mission, we will need to do a mission called Rescue Operation. So you're gonna want to start up that mission now. Okay, so for this mission, all we need to do is make our way over to the Land Act Reservoir. Now, all you have to do is just search the area for the client, and you may need to go down over here to find the client. Okay, so now just take out all the enemies since there will be a lot of them. Once you have taken out all the enemies, you will need to find a 2-person car. Then you'll need to transport the client to the destination. So after you complete the mission, you will need to head over to the yellow F icon on your map, which will be located at the golf course. So just walk there and wait for the mission to start. Okay, so now all we need to do is just chase the golf carts down and then crash into them until our intimidation bar is maxed out. And we only need to do it for one of the golf carts. Now after that, all we need to do is just follow them until they drive over to the pier. And then we will need to hit the guy to intimidate him. So just click the right trigger button. After that, you will have to watch a long cutscene, which should be quick. Okay, now that the mission is complete, we will need to head over to our agency. Once we get to our computer, we're gonna want to select the VIP contract option, and then afterwards we can click start mission. So all we need to do is just fly the helicopter to the top of the FIB building. Okay, so once you are here, we will need to land the helicopter on the roof to access the building. Then once we're inside the FIB building, we will need to just make our way to this door over here to locate it. Now we will need to blow up the door, so you're gonna want to just use some sticky bombs to do it. After that, just make your way inside and look for a desktop computer, and then you're gonna want to click the right D-pad to install the software in the computer. After you do that, you will need to wait for it to install, which will take around 2 minutes. So you're gonna want to take out the guards in the meantime. Now after that is done, you will need to head back to your room and then steal the hard drive from this area. Then you're gonna want to run to the door so that we can leave the building. Now all you need to do is climb up the ladder so that we can exit, but I recommend opening your snack menu so that you can heal up your character. Now just enter your helicopter or whatever you use to get here and lose the police. Now all we need to do right now is just deliver the drive to the agency. Okay, so now that we are done with that mission, head back to your office computer to select the VIP contract if you haven't done it already. Now just select the Nightlife Leaf mission, and then we can start up the next mission. Now for this mission, we will need to drive to the nightclub, and we will need to enter through the garage door. So now that we are inside, don't even worry about staying undetected. So you're gonna want to just keep shooting the guards, but make sure that you're using your snacks because these guards will have pretty good aim. But now just make a way to the office, and we're gonna want to steal this object right over here. Click right D-pad to steal it, and then we can leave the building. Now all we need to do is bring the tape back to our agency. Okay, so head to your computer and select the start button. So for this mission, all we need to do is head over to the docks. So I'll see you guys over there. Okay, so now that we are here, we will need to locate a green speedboat, and once you do find it, just enter the boat and drive it a little forward. Then you should be able to exit the boat, and you will be able to use your oppressor to fly to the yacht. Okay, so now we will need to locate the main cabin, so just run up to the yellow ring and take out the guards in the way. Now we will need to run up to these stairs and make sure there are no guards in the way, and then we can enter the room. So for this part, just shoot the guard, and then we will need to walk up to this and click the right D-pad to unlock the cabin door. And while we are in here, just walk up to this area and click the right D-pad to disable the air defenses, and that will allow us to not get shot down while we are flying. Now just follow the path that I take so that we can enter the cabin. Now once you're inside, just take out the remaining guards in the way, and we will need to search around the room until we find this photo of the Diamond Casino. Then you're going to want to open your phone and select the Snapchat app so that we can take a photo, and then we will need to send it to our contact. Now after that, we can leave the yacht, and if you disable the air defenses, you should be able to fly out here pretty easily. So just leave the area and then the mission will end. Now make your way back to the agency afterwards. So now just go to the computer and click the start button. Okay, so for this mission, we will need to make our way to the Diamond Casino garage. And once you're here, we're going to want to walk into this elevator. Now that we are inside the penthouse, we need to run over to suite number 520. So once we're inside, we will need to make our way over to the room and just walk up to this guy right here, and we're going to want to click the right D-pad to steal the equipment. And then after you do that, you will need to take out the guard. So you will need to be very careful since they only give you 2 lives. After that, you can just leave the penthouse. Now after that, of course, there will be some more guards. You're going to want to just get rid of them, and then we will need to walk up to the elevator and click the right D-pad. Afterwards, we will be inside of this basement, so we will need to shoot all the guards, and then we're gonna wanna run over to the VIP area, which will be at the very bottom. Now, once you get outside, just shoot these guys, and then we can steal the guy's truck and drive it back to our agency. So now we can start the high society mission so that we can click the start button. Okay, so now we will need to travel to the country club and then hack the key card. So for this, we will just need to find the right number inside of the maze, and then we will just select it. Now you're going to want to enter the door and shoot all the guards in here, and then afterwards we can run to the computer and hack it by clicking the right D-pad. Now for this part, just copy exactly what I do and you should be good to go. Okay, so now we can leave the building, and then we will need to search for the limo on the map. Sometimes the limo will spawn under this area over here. Another place that it can spawn will be over here. Now we will need to search for a white limo. After that, you can just follow him and try to get him to stop and exit your vehicle and shoot the driver. As you can see, I failed to do that, so I had to turn on the aimbot and quickscope, bro. After that, you will need to recover the driver's wallet, so just throw him out of the car and then click the right D-pad, and then you can finally return back to your agency. Okay, so now that we completed this mission, all we need to do is start up the next mission. So for this mission, we will need to drive to Lake Vinewood, and once we get here, we will need to go this route. So just follow the path that I take in the video and just shoot all the guards that are in the way. Just make sure that you're not using any explosives. So afterwards, you will need to stun this guy and then click the right D-pad to kidnap, bro. After that, you will need to open up your snack menu, and believe me, if you don't do this, then you will die. Trust me. Now, after that, you can just drive safely back to your agency. So now that we are done, just click the start button. Okay, so just drive to the Billionaire's mansion, and once we do get here, we will need to shoot this gate over here. Trust me, if you don't do it, then you won't be able to exit the area when you're done. So now just drive into the mansion's gates and try not to do anything sketchy. So no shooting or holding your weapon out, because you will be detected. Now we will need to find the source of the music wherever it's coming from, so just make your way over here, and then you're going to want to wait a little bit. Okay, so after that, we will need to trash the party. So just explode some of the cars until the bar is fully red. Now if you didn't destroy all the cars, you might be able to still use them to leave the area. So just enter the fast vehicle and drive it out to the mansion to leave. Okay, so now after that, we will want to take out a weapon that is strong and just shoot the helicopter down until the bar goes fully away. Now just follow the guy's route. So once you get here, you're gonna want to just drive over this ramp and try not to fall in the water. But yeah, make your way over here, and then we will need to steal the phone from the guy. Now once you did that, you can just copy my route and then exit the place to deliver the phone to the agency. Just make sure you're healing up. Alright, so now we're going to start up the next chapter. So select the South Central League so that we can get started. Alright guys, so first things first, we will need to drive to Chamberlain Hills, and once you arrive, you will need to enter this black truck. Alright, when you arrive here, all we need to do is just take out all the lost MC. So I recommend using a decent weapon so that you can get rid of them. After that, we will need to locate a white van, and it's going to have the supplies inside. So just deliver it back to the location, and then you completed the mission. So now we're gonna need to head back to our agency so that we can start up the next mission. Okay, so once we're done with that, we can just drive to the destination. And when we get there, we'll need to enter the truck, and you will have to drive to another one, unfortunately. Once you get here, you will need to shoot all the enemies, but they will have a billion guys, so be careful. Once you do that, you will need to follow Vernon to the garage. Now, you don't need to do anything here, but just wait. Then after that, you can leave the garage and then just leave the area, and then you're done with the mission. Okay guys, so this is the final mission under the South Central League. So whenever you're ready, we can click on the start button. Alrighty, so the very first thing you will need to do is meet these people at the Davis Mega Mall. And once you get there, you will have to travel in a group because you will need to meet up at the Rancho Project. Alright, once you get here, you will need to wait for this cutscene to end. And as soon as it ends, we will need to start shooting everyone over here. But try to not die, since we will only get 2 lives. But after that, you will need to follow the guy who will steal the lowrider and just enter whatever vehicle that you can find to track down the guy. And after you do that, you will want to kill the guy in the vehicle and then enter the vehicle to bring it back to your agency, and then you're going to be done with the mission. So this time we will need to head over to the yellow F icon to start the next mission. So just click the right D-pad to start it up. And once you get here, we will need to drive the car over to this location, so let's go. Okay, so now just take out all the guards that are over here, and once the coast is clear, we should be able to enter the building. So once we're inside, we will just have to shoot all the guards or enemies inside the building. So for this, you will need a lot of snacks. So hopefully you guys have snacks, because if you don't, then it's over. Anyways, just follow my route that I'm taking in the tutorial, and then you should be good to go. Once you take out all the guys, you will need to enter the control room. Okay, so unfortunately, you cannot skip this cutscene, and it takes like 5 hours to complete. Once it is over, head over to your agency and run to the yellow icon again to start the next mission. Okay, so now just drive to the guy's last location, and once you get here, just go down this long road here, and then you'll be able to locate the guy. Just make sure that you leave the vehicle way behind the entrance so that the car will not despawn. Now we will need to take out all the enemies, but remember, be careful since we only have 2 lives. Once you do that, enter the vehicle and drive it all the way to the LSIA airport. So now just exit the vehicle and walk inside the door. Now you'll be greeted with a lot of guards, but we can get rid of them easily. So just keep shooting the guards until they're not in the way. Now you're gonna wanna shoot this red octane tank and climb over it. Now just follow my route so that we can get through this very quickly. Okay, for some reason, this guy is invincible and we cannot shoot him. And then afterwards, he'll randomly just disappear. Anyways, just walk up to the steps and shoot the guy, and this time he will die. Now just click the right D-pad and we are done with the mission, except you'll have to watch another cutscene. Anyways, that cutscene is over, but we will need to drive over to the next location. Now once we do that, we're gonna have to wait until his helicopter leaves, and then we will get the $1 million, which is guaranteed every single time. Now for the first time you do this, my friend, you will get an extra 250k, or you should get it since I got it. So I think there is a 48-minute cooldown until you can start up the next contract again. And once you do start the missions up, after you already completed it, all you need to do is start the VIP contracts. So you will never have to do the security contracts ever again. Alright guys, this video took a very long time. So please leave a comment down below if this video was good. But yeah, this video was made for beginner GTA Online players who don't know where and how to start making money. So if you follow this guide, you will at least know how to make millions of dollars. Anyways, there's a lot more ways to make money, but unfortunately I didn't want the video to end up being an hour long. Anyways, check out this video if you want to learn how to make millions of dollars with the Nightclub.